Hello, good afternoon, everyone again. So today is the third day. I'll continue with the stories from the Lotus Sutra. So the few days before, we've already done the first, the second, and the third parables. Now, today, we are going to do the fourth and the fifth. Okay, the parable of the fantastic castle city. There was a group of people traveling together. One day, they reached a road 500 leagues long. It was steep, difficult, and deserted. No one lived there. There were dangerous beasts, but with neither water nor grass. It was dangerous and frightening place. A large group of people wanted to get to this place because there were some rare treasures. There was a leader in this group. He was the teacher, but also the guide. He was knowledgeable, wise, clear-headed, and determined. He could save people from danger or many troubles. This guide had traveled on this path before. He knew which area was difficult and which area was easier for the group to go through. He vowed to look after the group and help them through this path safely. But the condition was tough. It was not an easy path to walk on, and it was long in distance. They were hungry and thirsty. So after walking for a long time, many of them wanted to give up because they become too tired along the way. They said to the guide, "We are extremely exhausted and afraid as well. We can't go any further. The road ahead of us goes on, and it is uncertain. Now we want to turn back." The skillful guide thought, "These people are to be pitied. How come that they want to turn back and give up such great rare treasures ahead?" He thought of a skillful means. Using divine power, he conjured up a great walled castle city with splendidly adored houses, surrounded by gardens and groves, brooks and ponds, with double gates and tall pavilions. The city was filled with both women and men. This castle city appeared about 300 leagues down the difficult road. Then he said to the group, "Don't be afraid. You must not turn back. Look, you see that great city ahead? You can go into this city. There, you can have a rest and enjoy yourselves in the way you like." The people thought if they entered this castle city, they could have great joy, feeling calm and comfortable. And this castle city could also lead them to the place of the rare treasures. They were very tired already, and they were so happy to see this castle city. They said to themselves, "Now we can surely escape from this dreadful road and have some peace and comfort." So the group went into the fantastic city, thinking they had been rescued from their difficulties. They were soon calm and comfortable. So these people went into the great city, and they thought there were no difficulties. They were comfortable. So the guide saw the group had rested, and they were no longer weary. He immediately made this fantastic castle city disappear. He told the group, we have to go now. We got to go now. Move forward, and the treasure is now near. The city was only a fantasy. I knew you all were exhausted and wanted to turn back midway. I used my power of skillful means to conjure up this fantastic large city for you all to rest for a short time only. We have got to move on now. Let's go. Our Buddha is the same as the guide in the story. Now, he is functioning as our great guide. Great guide, yeah. So he knows that this bad road of birth and death and afflictions is steep, difficult, long, and never ending. But we still got to go through this road, and he will guide us along. If living beings only hear of the one Buddha vehicle, they will not want to see the Buddha or approach him, because they think that the Buddha's way is too long and never ending. The process is something that can only be attained after long suffering from the hard work. The Buddha, knowing that people's willpower is timid and weak, he uses the power of skillful means, preaching the two vehicles nirvana, in order to provide a resting place along the way. It is the living beings, if the living beings remain at this two vehicles nirvana, this stage, then the Buddha also will tell them, you have not yet understood what you have to do. Your work is not completely done. The place where you rest is only close to the Buddha wisdom. Please think carefully and observe more. The nirvana that you have attained is not the real one. The Buddha the Buddha, through skillful means, has presented the one Buddha vehicle to you when speaking about all the three. The Buddha is just like the travel guide, who, in order to provide a place for the travelers to rest, he conjured up a great castle city. After they had rested, he told them, the place of treasure is closed. The city is not real, but it is only something I conjured up. So in the verses, in the Sutra, Buddha says, Buddha sees the seekers of treasure half the way, becoming discouraged and were unable to go through the steep road of birth and death and afflictions. So with skillful means, he taught them nirvana so they could rest, saying, your suffering is ended. You have finished your work. When I know they have reached nirvana and all have become arhats, then I gather everyone together and teach the true Dharma. Through their power of skillful means, Buddha first teach all the three vehicles, but tell the disciples that there is really only one desirable Buddha vehicle. The other two are taught as the resting place only. I want to tell you that what you have achieved is not the ultimate goal. In order to gain a Buddha's comprehensive wisdom, you must make greater efforts. When you have gained comprehensive wisdom and the 10 powers of the Buddha Dharma and acquired the 32 characteristics, only by then you have attained the ultimate nirvana. The Buddha, as the teacher, teach you the easier version of nirvana to provide you a rest. But seeing that you have rested, the Buddha leads you on to attain Buddha wisdom. Okay, so we'll look at some of the ideas in the story now. The leader of the group is Buddha. The leader is the merchants doing trading in the old days. They need to go very far here and there to buy and sell goods. So they often will go together as a group because sometimes their destinations are places that are unknown and dangerous. Sometimes they go treasure hunting together. This group of merchants needs a leader to guide them to complete a safe journey. This leader is clever and he has great knowledge. He had traveled on this path before, so he is fully experienced and is able to guide them along. In the story, these merchants have got to pass through a long and dangerous road to get to the treasures. There are dangerous snakes and wild animals along the way. Besides, there is no water, no grass for their horses. So the condition is terrible, and these merchants are terrified when they are on this path. This dangerous road refers to life and death in our life. Being born endlessly in a cyclic existence is scary and full of suffering and danger. Poisonous snakes and wild animals refer to the three poisons: desire, anger, and ignorance. These three afflictions will hurt our Dharma body and limit our chances to gain wisdom. The grass for the horses refers to the virtues, merits, and wisdom we need to attain Buddhahood. Sentient beings living in the sea of life and death. Their wisdom, virtues, and merits are limited, but their afflictions are countless. They are transmigrating in this threefold world. It is very painful. So Buddha hopes we can all liberate and attain Buddhahood. The road is 500 leagues long, or we can say 500 yojanas. Yojana is the unit of measurements for distance in ancient India. One yojana is appropriately the distance of a day's travel for an emperor. This is saying that one yojana is about 9 miles today. That is 14.49 kilometers to be exact. The 100 yojanas refer to the Dharma realm. Beings there are ruled by various desires, such as the desire for food, sex, and sleep. The 200 yojanas refer to the form realm. Existence is constituted of pure materiality, free from the afflictions of the desire realm. The 300 yojanas refer to the formless realm. The beings there have no shape or substance. It is purely spiritual realm. The 400 and the 500 yojanas refer to the path and achievements of the Shravakas and the Pratyeka Buddhas. Buddha has great courage and wisdom. He can save and lead sentient beings out of the threefold world. It is the same with the leader of the group, who can take the group through the dangerous road to where the treasures are. However, the members of the group are all exhausted and want to give up. They want to turn back. The leader has pity for these people. He does not want them to give up now and go home empty-handed. He realized that the only way to help them is to employ expedient means. So he uses supernatural power to conjure up a castle city. This magic city is wonderful. There are beautiful houses inside with gardens and pools. The leader tells the merchants, "Don't be upset. You can go into the city and have a rest. It is a safe place. It is safe there, and you can freely enjoy everything there." This represents the way how Buddha saved us and get us out of the mundane world. The road to get liberated and out of the free-flow world is long and take ages. But the Bodhisattva's path takes a longer time to practice. To gain Buddhahood is again much harder and takes even a longer period. In order to succeed, Buddha has got to help sentient beings and face all kinds of difficulties. Many of them may retreat and give up before reaching their goal. They are contented in living as an ordinary man in the free-fall world. So it is not easy. It is not an easy job for Buddha try to convert all sentient beings in this world. Buddha has compassion for all of us. He knows when we face difficulties, we always give up easily. If we retreat from our Bodhi heart, there will be not much chances for us to gain virtues and go on the path to reach Buddhahood. So Buddha is kind by introducing them the teaching of the two vehicles and letting them liberate themselves first. All the nice rooms, gardens, and pools in the castle city represent the merits that Shravakas and the practical Buddha gained from their practices. That is not a real city, but provides them a place to take rest so they can feel happy and regain energy. But some of them mistakenly think it is their destination, thinking that they have gained the supreme enlightenment. Therefore, after a short time, the leader tells them to move on and leave this castle city because there is no treasure. They got to keep going and find them. That is to attain Buddhahood. And that is the treasure that Buddha wants us to gain. In our path of life and death, no one can help us. We must walk on our own. We have created karmas, and we will get the karmic results. Living in this world, we may have to rely on our parents, or when we get old, we may have to rely on our children. We may rely on our friends' help, but we have got to face life and death ourselves and accept our karmic results ourselves. No one can take away and share our pain and suffering. For example, a doctor can help us cure our disease so that we can feel better. But it is still up to the existing conditions and our body whether we can recover or not. One day anyway, we still have to die. Even the doctor cannot stop that for us. We love our parents so much, but we cannot help them to live forever. We must walk on this path ourselves, and with the guidance of Buddha Dharma, we have the direction and know where we should go. From the story, we can see that people are more determined and focused when they have started doing something or be involved in a project. But a lot of them lose motivation after some time. They will retreat or give up. They behave in the same manner when practicing Dharma. Why do sentient beings give up on attaining Buddhahood so easily? There are 3 reasons. When they hear about the wonderful things that Buddha and Bodhisattvas do, they know the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas must endure all kinds of difficulties when giving compassionate deeds to all sentient beings. They feel they are not able to do that because they are not strong enough. They feel that in order to achieve Buddhahood, They have got to live and help sentient beings for a long, long period, and that is too hard for them. The time required to attain Buddhahood is indeed long. It may take a few eons. These are all too difficult for them. They do not know when they can attain Buddhahood, and they do not have faith in themselves. They do not think they can make it. How wonderful it is when we face difficulties in life. There is a spiritual benefactor like this leader who is willing to help us, guide us, and encourage us to overcome the difficulties so that we can continue with our journey. None of us is perfect, so we all need spiritual benefactors. We can also be that person when others need us. The leader in the story has great abilities. Actually, he can get the treasures on his own without the help of the other people. But he stayed with them and tries to use expedient means to help them get the treasures safely. A good leader accompanies the weak ones and never abandons them or gives up. So like Buddha, we should not abandon all sentient beings too. We are like the merchants in the story, weak and tired in life. It is fine to take a rest and regain energy, but after that, we must get up and continue our journey towards our goal. We need to be brave and initiated the Bodhi vow. Then we shall get our reward in the future, attaining the Buddhahood. So here is the cave painting in Dunhuang depicting this story. So you can see, oops. They are traveling in the mountain, among the mountain with their horses. So like a group of merchants. So the cave painting depicts all these sutra stories, and it's easier for people to understand the stories and follow. And it's very nice. They can always contemplate and look at these paintings and remember what the teaching is in the sutra. So this is another painting. So you can see, yes, these merchants are on the way. And then there's the fantastic castle city here. They are entering there and have a rest. Okay, so now we're up to the next story. The parable of the poor man with a pearl in his robe. After the 500 arahats received their assurance before Buddha, they were happy and prostrated themselves at Buddha's feet. They repented to Buddha for their mistakes, saying, Buddha, we always thought we had already attained the final nirvana. Now we know we were foolish. Why? Because we were capable of reaching the wisdom of the Buddha, but we were contented with lesser wisdom. Here, these arahats use a parable to describe that. Buddha, there was a poor person who was not smart. One day, he went to a close relative's place. They were good friends. The relative invited the poor man to eat and stay. They had a good time together and drinking wine. Later, he got drunk and fell asleep. Meanwhile, this relative has got to go away on official business urgently. So this relative cared for the poor man. Although the poor man did not talk about his situation or ask for help, the relative knows he was poor and needed help. he was unwilling to leave the poor man behind. So before he left the house, he took a priceless jewel and sold it into the lining of the man's robe as a gift, and left without telling the poor man. The man, being drunk and asleep, knew nothing of this. After getting up, he went on his way to other lands. He did not have working skills, so he became a beggar and always got to move around different places to find food and clothing. Life was hard for him, but as long as he had a little food to eat or clothes to keep his body warm, he's satisfied. After many years, his relatives happened to meet him and said, "Oh, how sad, oh friend. Why do you have to do this for the sake of food and clothing? Why don't you sell the priceless pearl I gave you? I want you to have a comfortable life, to enjoy and be able to satisfy the 5 desires. Long time ago, when you met me in my place, I sold a priceless jewel into the lining of your robe. How come you did not notice that pearl? Because of your ignorance, you are slaving and worrying to keep yourself alive. How dumb! You can use the jewel to exchange for whatever you need, free from poverty and suffering." The Buddha is like this relative. When he was a bodhisattva, he taught us to seek comprehensive wisdom, but we soon forgot about it, neither knowing or perceiving it. Having obtained the way of the Arahat, we supposed we have reached nirvana. Finding that it hard to make a living, we contented ourselves with whatever we could find. Yet, aspiration for comprehensive wisdom was never lost. And now the Buddha awakens us and says, "Monks, what you have obtained is not final and complete nirvana. For a long time, you have planted good roots to become a Buddha, and use skillful means. For a long time, Buddha had planted good roots for becoming a Buddha and used skillful means that show you what nirvana was like. But you thought that you thought that it was the real way to get it, and you had attained it. This is how we were too. The Buddha constantly took pity on us and taught us to cultivate the highest aspiration. But because of our ignorance, we neither perceived nor knew this. Having gained just a little bit of nirvana, we were satisfied and sought no more. Buddha, now we understand that we are the bodhisattvas, and we are assured of attaining supreme awakening. For this reason, we were filled with joy, having gained something never had before. Okay. So in the story, the poor man meets his relative and they have a meal together. They are very happy seeing each other and they have lots of wine. After the meal, the man is drunk and falls asleep in the relative's home. This poor man refers to the sentient beings in the threefold world. The poor man also refers to the audience that listened to the Dharma teaching of the past Shakyamuni Buddha, when the great universal wisdom excellence Buddha was present in the world. Before the great universal wisdom excellent Buddha became a Buddha, he was a king and had 16 sons. This king renounced the secular world and become a monk. And these 16 sons also followed their father and became 16 novices. These novices shared the Dharma with the audience when Buddha was teaching. Shakyamuni Buddha was a bodhisattva at that time, and he was one of the novices. He is the youngest prince among the 16th. He gave talks on the Lotus Sutra, and the audience later became the 500 arahats then. All these 16 novices practiced very well, and later they all attained Buddhahood. So this story also is recorded in the Lotus Sutra in other parts, but it's linked to these stories. So this poor man visited his relative's place. His relatives is very nice to him, caring and considerate. This relatives refers to Buddha. That is also the Prince 16, the novice that practices under the great universal wisdom excellent Buddha, the past life of Shakyamuni Buddha. So the man is drunk and fall asleep. This is a metaphor of sentient beings who do not know the truth, and they are confused and bewildered because of ignorance. The wine represents their ignorance and lack of wisdom. Our mind is not clear, and our behaviors can be out of control after having alcohol. This refers to people's mind that are always ignorant during their time in cyclic existence. They still have not awake. Being drunk and not awake refers to the retreat from their Bodhi mind. They did initiate the Bodhi vow in the past, but through a long time, without the spiritual benefactor's guidance, their defilements and afflictions arise. And because they did not continue to practice, they slowly forgot their vows and lost their faith and aspiration. The relative has got something urgent to deal with, and so he has to leave immediately without saying goodbye to the drunken man. This refers to Buddha, who moves from place to place helping sentient beings. Buddha will help sentient beings directly when the favorable conditions are met. Before the relatives leave his house, he feels worried for the drunk man. He notices he is poor and not smart. He cares for him a lot. There is a strong karmic link between them. So this relative decides to give him a precious gift so the poor man can lead a good life without suffering from poverty. He sewed a priceless jewel into the lining of his robe. This refers to the Prince 16 giving Dharma teaching after he became a monk. He taught the Lotus Sutra to 500 monks. Even though the audience at that time were still ignorant and could not understand the essence of the sutra, they did listen to the Dharma teaching through the six sense faculties: our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. They were delighted and praised the great Dharma and initiate Bodhi vow at that time. This is similar to the precious pearl being sold to the lining of the poor man's robe. The pearl represents the faith and aspiration for the Dharma teaching. It includes the joy and delights of hearing the Lotus Sutra and initiating the unsurpassed Bodhi mind. Sewed into the lining represents the Dharma teaching. The Bodhi mind is already inside our alaya consciousness. All karma created in the present and previous lifetime is stored in the alaya consciousness. It is also translated as the receptacle consciousness, the eighth consciousness. The alaya consciousness accumulates all potential energy for the mental and physical manifestation of one's existence and supplies the substance to all existence. It also receives impressions from all functions of the other consciousness and retains them as a potential energy for their further manifestation and activities. After the drunk man awakens, not knowing about the pearl, he goes to other places to find a living. He does not aim for good quality of life, but just to stay alive. This refers to his not continuing in Mahayana practices, but follow the Shravaka's teachings instead. He is busy with finding food and clothing. The clothes refer to precepts, and the food refers to wisdom. This refers to the Shravakas loathing the world and practicing diligently to achieve arahatship. Later, the relative meets the poor man again. He is surprised why he is still so poor. The poor man does not know the presence of the pearl at all. The relatives say to the man, "You are silly. Why suffer for finding a living? You have the pearl and you can sell it and improve your life." This refers to the fact that we initiated Bodhi vows in the past and we are Bodhisattvas. Why did we discontinue our practice and practice the Shravaka path now? Buddha wants us to attain the supreme enlightenment, that is the great nirvana. The pearl was sewed into the lining of the fabric. It is secured and will not be lost. It will be there forever. This refers to our Bodhi vow. Even though we may have forgotten about it now, yet when we hear the Dharma teaching again, the Bodhi mind will reinitiate it again. So when we hear the Dharma and practice it again, we shall accumulate more merits, and all these will be stored in our alaya consciousness. When we continue to practice diligently on the Bodhisattva path, we can progress and enter the first bhumi, later the second bhumi, until the 10th bhumi, and at the end attain Buddhahood. The 10 bhumis are the 10 Bodhisattva stages, the process of Mahayana awakening. Buddha uses all sorts of skillful means to guide us like the relative. We always forget and get distracted on our path to Buddhahood. We can practice the Shravaka way, but we need to remember that these are only skillful teachings to help us overcome difficulties, afflictions, and a way to escape from the sufferings of cyclic existence. Buddha wants us to become Buddha, not an Arahat. We just need to remember we all have the precious pearl in us. We just need to recover it again and use it. Listen to Dharma teaching and practice with our Bodhi mind. Continue to improve ourselves and progress on the path of Buddhahood. Okay, so here is a painting. The painting depicting this story, this parable story. So you can see probably this is the poor man on the right. he met his friend. His friend got nicer clothes, is red, probably made of more expensive materials. And this rich man got the servants beside him. So after they enter the friend's house, they sit down and they have a meal together. And you can see this person on the far left-hand side on the top, the white person, he's drunk. He looks drunk. So all these paintings are quite interesting. And I think, depicting the details and express it in a way that for people who cannot read the text, well, they may still get the story from looking at the painting, looking at the picture. Okay, so this is the end for the talk today. We will now have some discussions.
I have one question. What chapter is that parable of the pearl sewn into the chapter?
The pearl, the chapter, the unlearning. Oh, sorry, I have to go get the. Hold on.
Yeah.
So the parables for the city is the 500 arahat one, and this one is the physical 5.
Which one?
Oh no, sorry, sorry, not that one. Oh, sorry, it's the no. Yeah, it's right. The 500 physical 4. Physical 4. Yes. Can you find it? 500 arahats.
Okay, so the parable of the pearl is in the 500 arahat chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've got that.
You got that? Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, while we're talking about books, is there a good book that would have the parables and any commentaries or explanations on them?
Probably Professor Rim.
Hold on.
I know the reefs.
You.
Yeah, this is the one I look at.
Put it down a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that one I know. Although I don't have it.
Yeah, but these, they don't have the commentaries. They just have the translation of the sutra. So probably Professor Rim knows a bit more.
One is by Donald Lopez and Jacqueline Stone. It's called Two Buddhas Sitting Side by Side. Okay. The subtitle is A Guide to the Lotus Sutra. So that's Donald Lopez.
Thank you. I think
And
I saw
another
that
one is The Lotus Sutra, a biography by Donald Lopez. That is published by Princeton University. And the first one is, they're both Princeton University texts.
Yeah, the commentaries I look at are the notes from Venerable Yin-Shun or other Chinese venerables.
Yeah. Whereas the ones I'm talking about are by contemporary scholars.
Oh, okay.
And I've got more stuff, but I have to dig it out. So not easy to get right now.
Yeah. Well, it's very nice to have Professor Rim here. He knows so much.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of books.
Boy, does he have books.
He gives me
he got the practice skills too.
But now,
so
now that I'm aging, I need to unload a few books.
I have half of the load already. Remember, you have so many books?
Yeah.
So have we all found our pearls?
Oh yeah.
hidden in ourselves, hidden in our clothes.
Yeah, Professor Rim is a very good reader, I guess. He has all the books and very good book. You can find a lot of good things there.
Yeah.
So anybody have any questions?
Actually, I find the story is really funny when I first read it in the Buddhist Institute, because like this person wearing the same robe for like so many years, he doesn't like change his clothes or wash it. He didn't notice the pearl, and I find it really funny.
Well, it's don't be too realistic about the parable. if you're going to be realistic about it, then you're going to ruin the parable.
Yeah, but I find it interesting.
Totally unlikely that for 50 years he could be wearing that same garment with that same pearl in it. So the parables are, shall we say, creative fiction, and they're there to make a point.
Make you think, where is this about?
Yeah, and I think in these parables, it's easier for us to remember. So we remember the story, and we immediately remember what the message behind the story.
Yeah.
If we just talk about the theory, sometimes it's kind to keep it in our mind.
Yeah.
So
does your group at your Indonesian temple, do you use the Lotus Sutra very much?
No, but after preparing for this talk, I'm very interested in practicing according to the Lotus Sutra, and I will try to make an effort to recite the sutra and later maybe to recite with the people together. But it's a bit harder for the people in the Indonesia because the Chinese is too hard. So they need the pronunciation, the romanization beside the words. They can't do that, but I think it's a very good sutra, and we can share with them. I can share with them later. It is quite thick. It takes a whole week to recite this if in a ceremony.
Oh yeah.
It has also been a practice among some Japanese Buddhist sects to copy the Lotus Sutra, so they copy it.
Yeah, they took it very seriously. This sutra.
It's very big in Japan.
It's a very big group. Do you know why they like so into this sutra?
I don't know,
especially in Japan.
But it was also in the system of I can't pronounce it correctly, but in the system of the Tiantai Buddhism in India, in China, the Lotus Sutra was seen as the Keystone Sutra, number one, just as in Huayan, Avatamsaka Sutra was seen as number one. That went to Japan, and the prestige of the Lotus Sutra came with the arrival of what the Japanese call Tendai. And that you get a number of monks coming out of the Tendai monasteries, founding different sects, Pure Land sects, Lotus sects. So you have in Japan, you have Nichiren, which is a Lotus sect. And you have some other groups. You've got different Nichiren groups. There's not just one. But in Japan.
And how about in Korea? Are they
not so big?
Just in Japan?
Not so big. Because if you take the two great Chinese systems, the Tiantai and the Huayan, Tiantai went to Japan and became dominant. Huayan went to Korea and became dominant. So in Korea, the Avatamsaka Sutra has more status than the Lotus Sutra. That has a lot to do with the different characters of the Buddhisms in Korea and Japan.
SGIs and other organizations, they have their own political party in Japan. I mean, it's that large, and they're also pretty prominent in terms of making Western converts.
Oh yeah, but they're not the only group. The largest Nichiren group in Japan is not Nichiren Shosu, it's Nichiren Shu. And Soka Gakkai, SGI, comes out of Nichiren Shosu. Then they split. So that SGI is separate and no longer connected with Nichiren Shosu. Very powerful, though. Also, much more diverse in its population than other Buddhist groups in the United States. Many more people of color.
Tina Turner.
Yeah, Tina Turner is famous.
Tina Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Roberto Baggio was also this famous soccer player is SGI.
Yeah, there are several others. Hollywood is really big on SGI.
Tina Turner, really?
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah, she has. She lives in France, and she's got her own altar and the whole works.
Yeah,
she's very upfront about it. She doesn't skirt the issue because it's apparently the chanting has made a big difference in her life.
So Michael, Professor Rim, do you do chanting, or you mostly focus on meditation and readings?
Meditation, reading, but I also do some chanting, but I don't do the Lotus Sutra.
Okay.
I do the Heart Sutra. That's my favorite, and other devotional things that come with practice.
Yeah, that's great. And how's everyone else? Did you all practice well during the year? Did you bow to the Buddha, Justin? Did you remember the chanting?
Which one?
The Shakyamuni Buddha's name.
Yes.
Or the others.
We do it weekly.
At the Bodhi Monastery. Not
in the Bodhi Monastery. I just do it from the Zoom with the view of our devotees. Yeah. Because we have to practice the thing. That's a very nice way.
Oh, yeah. Justine?
Yeah.
I by myself, but because I work all the time, and then I wish that I could get somewhere to do it, but it's been really excessive working. I needed the money for gas to get there.
Yeah. Well, when you work, sometimes when you're helping people or looking after people, if they are sick, you can just recite the name of the Buddha or the Avalokiteshvara's Bodhisattva's name and hope the Bodhisattva can relieve their pain. Just like that. Just the name.
Yeah, we like
that is a way of practice. Yeah, no need to be too complicated.
Yeah,
to always remember the triple gem. And they also share that to the sick person. You don't have to say it, you just say it in your heart. And then you have this vow inside you, and you also share this with them.
We like to have somebody else with us, so like have a mutual energy to do that. Otherwise, it'll get lazy.
You can. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So in every actions in our daily lives, we can practice.
Yes.
And I mean, these sutras, these teachings are not just in the books.
Yes.
You have to get these ideas and put it in yourself, in your daily lives, and into our actions.
Yeah.
So when you do something, you remember, is this what the Buddha or the Bodhisattvas will do? Will they make others angry, or will they talk like this way? So you're slowly changing your own mindset, and this helps me a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I like chanting a lot. You don't, yeah. Because everyone's is different. Because for me, when I chant, I can read the sutra, the Chinese text. Then I make the connection directly. It's the Dharma teaching. So it's like I'm facing a Buddha, or in that environment, that time. It's like he's talking to me, and I'm the person at that place. That's listening to the Dharma. So I make the relationship. Yeah,
it's also good because you oxygenate, and you will actually feel better physically through the act of repetitive chanting.
Yes,
definitely.
Oh, yeah. It's,
I like to mention somebody here on the list: Alan Leong,
that's my
Ming Yang, and VR.
VR is my Dharma sister. She's in Indonesia.
See, because I want them to give me their email address. Who is Ming Chang? Do you know?
I don't know.
He's there. Min, can you talk? And then Alani, do you know who Alani?
Oh, that is my father. That's my father.
Your father?
Yeah, that's my father. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Pop. All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's shy. He doesn't want to talk, probably.
Yeah, but I think I know the name Alan Leong, but I forgot who that is. And there is another ladies and from Australia, I think, but she's not here today.
Min starts to talk, I think.
Min Chang?
She unmute. Yeah, she unmuted.
Yeah, it's unmuted already. Min, could you send me your email address?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I have.
Sorry.
In the chat. Okay, so if I have any information, I can send some for you.
Yep, sure, I can do that.
Okay, so ERYSF123 gmail.com.
Yep. I'll do that, sure.
Okay.
What? And Jane, it's very inspiring to hear you already been a Buddhist for 20 years.
Oh, thank you. Almost next year.
But that is longer than me.
Oh my goodness. Well, yes. I was going to say, am I allowed to say that I do Pali chanting?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, Jane, I remember you were taking the refuge that day. You kneeling so long.
I remember you giving me the mala in the hallway that had a crystal guanine pendant on it, which of course I still have.
Good. Yeah, I remember those days our old master make everybody kneeling so long. How many whole hours?
I remember Master Ren-Shun was on one side of the Buddha hall and Venerable Bodhi was on the other side. So we had the two of them there doing the going for refuge for everyone. And it was like a wedding because it was just so many people.
That was the Vesak, right?
Yes. And Michael, you did a talk in the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken, in the lecture hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know you then.
Yes,
I didn't know me either.
Otherwise, you cannot listen. That was the good old days, right?
Indeed.
It was long ago.
Yeah, many years ago. Because now when we do the refuge, we don't have that long kneeling anymore because our abbot doesn't talk as much as old Master Ren-Jin, okay? So he only say, okay, this is that's it. Yeah, so... Yeah.
When I think of old Master Ren-Jin, I think of him walking around, looking at people,
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was during the liturgy, he would, walk along the sides and look. And if it was a class or even in the dining room, he would walk around and look at things. And I can see that in my mind.
Yeah. He's always walking around, right?
Yeah.
Checking up everybody.
Yeah.
With his stick.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Larry, thank you everyone for sharing.
Yeah.
It's Venerable. Captain America time here.
Yes.
Captain America, yes.
All right, just pull up the picture. Three bows to the Buddha. Bow to the teacher.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Venerable.
I'll be taking a break and I will be back.
Same.
Hiya.